The United States has always been and still is a place that attracts talented people from all across the country and all around the world. And they're searching for new opportunities. They view our country as a place that values and rewards hard work. They are attracted to our vibrant, open economy, and they admire our universities and research institutions that lead the world in technological and scientific innovation. Now, the question is that a statement about today or a statement about a couple of years ago? We can talk about that. They are often top students in their home countries and would have plenty of career opportunities if they decide to stay there. But they want a bigger challenge and they want a bigger stage, so they come here to the United States. Tens of thousands of high-skilled immigrants come to this country every year to study, work, or start a business. We should welcome these people because they make our country and our economy stronger. They create American jobs. The role of immigrants in the phenomenal growth of the U.S. technology industry over the past 2 decades is very well documented and stunning, is it not? Absolutely stunning. Many of our largest and most successful tech companies like Intel, eBay, Yahoo, Google were founded or co-founded by foreign-born immigrants. In fact, from 1995 to 2005, foreign-born entrepreneurs helped found 25% of all new high-tech companies in America. But the contributions of high-skilled immigrant workers to economic success go way beyond Silicon Valley, even reaches West Virginia. We're a relatively small state. We're not a big urban state like South Dakota, but we do our best. And we have really a lot of companies that have people who've worked their way up, have come from overseas and decided not to return home, but to stay. But the contributions of high-skilled immigrant workers to our economic success go beyond, as I indicated. As our witnesses are going to tell us today, companies in every region of the country, large, mid-sized, and small, benefit from their talents and skills. My home state of West Virginia has benefited from the high-quality, foreign-trained doctors who practice in underserved areas. And this is subject of some soreness to me on the side of those doctors who come here and stay. And I think that probably South Dakota is more open to new people than West Virginia was. I was new to West Virginia when I went there, and it took me 12 years to not be a carpetbagger. 12 long years. And I mean, that's just the nature, Scotch-Irish. But these foreign-trained doctors, and they practice in areas where other doctors will not practice or do not practice. Therefore, I value them incredibly. So when a West Virginian comments that their pronunciation of a word might be different, to me, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. For some of them, it creates a pattern which makes it harder for them to go back, which is so silly, is it not? It's so silly. And it's part of American isolationism, and it's not healthy, and it's what we're going to try and change in this immigration bill, at least start to change. We benefit from foreign professionals who do some specialized advanced manufacturing jobs in our states, and I have a whole slew of examples. Our witnesses are also going to tell us our immigration laws sometimes make our country a very much less welcoming place for high-skilled immigrants than it should be. High demand for H-1B visas and long waiting times for green cards make it more difficult for talented foreign students to work, to start a business here after they finish their degrees. Fortunately, some students give up, unfortunately, and go home. Now, there's 2 arguments to that. Part of me says that's good because when they go back, they're needed. They're needed here, they're needed there. So let's say I'm Korean or I'm Pakistani or whatever. If they come and they get their degrees here and stay here, I'm very happy about that, but quite frankly, I'm also happy if they go home. But I don't want to push them home. I want to make it a choice that they can make on their own. So You know, Canada and Australia, they're actively recruiting. We seem to be making things harder. So that's the reason that my learned colleague, Senator Thune, and I are having this hearing. As the Senate begins debating immigration reform, which I have hope for, I have real hope for, I have called this hearing, we have called this hearing to examine what changes are needed in our laws to maintain our ability to attract the best and the brightest to the United States. This issue is part of a bigger challenge that we spent a lot of time discussing in this committee, and that is the challenge of maintaining our country's position as a world leader in technology and scientific innovation. To maintain our lead, we have to be producing enough workers with the skills and training to do the jobs that our 21st century innovation economy is creating. One of the reasons American companies have foreign engineers and scientists is because our U.S. education system is not even coming close to producing enough of them. In fact, I think on a net basis, we may be backtracking. We talk a lot about it, even give it a certain amount of money, and of course the states do, but it's just woefully inadequate. It's woefully inadequate. Leaders in government, academia, and the private sector have all identified this issue as one of the keys to our long-term economic success. We have to do a better job encouraging our children to pursue STEM subjects. Now, how do you do that? I've had so many round tables in West Virginia with STEM teachers. I remember one woman had been a coal miner, and she'd stopped that and she'd gone into math teaching, where she was an absolute genius. And of course, to be a coal miner, you have to have all kinds of technical skills anyway, but she just brought an awful lot to the table. But science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, those are the most important things we can study, other than how to be nice to each other in classroom and not shoot. A few years ago, President Obama commented that our economy would be in better shape if fewer young people aspired to be investment bankers and more instead became engineers, scientists, doctors, and teachers. And of course, that's true. But try to sell that to somebody who has college and graduate degree loans to pay off. He received some flack for this comment, but I think he had it exactly right. The industries that are creating the high-paid, rewarding jobs of the 21st century are the science and technology sectors. We have to do a better job getting our students excited about these subjects, both at the K through 12 and the college level. We have a long way to go in this country to reach the point where we celebrate the accomplishments of science fair winners in the same way that we celebrate sports champions. I don't know much really to celebrate about sports champions, except for the 4.5 years that they survive if they play football, and then they have to rely on what they learned in school, which would be very little, and so the rest of their life is sort of a big downer. On the other hand, you get into STEM, and your life has no limits. To keep our economy and our country strong in the coming decades, we're going to need a lot of well-educated tech and science-savvy workers and entrepreneurs. That's obvious. They're the people who are going to create the good American jobs of the future, and whether these people are American-born or come to this country as teenagers or as adults, we need to give them all the opportunity to contribute to the success and prosperity of our country. And that concludes my remarks.